everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Board Game Breakfast. This is a weekly show that we do about board games with tons of contributors. It's all about board games. We're going to get started. But before we get started, I want you to know that tomorrow, Dice Tower East registration is going live. We're excited about that. If you just want to come for 5 straight days of gaming, it's really exciting. Our library, every week you see us building the library. That library is going to be there. It's going to be fantastic. And today, me and Sharon Madden, who is the director of Dice Tower East, we're doing a live Q&A in our normal Q&A slot. So if you have questions about that, you can come on. We got Facebook group set up for it. So there's a lot of things. This is the first time we've run one of these conventions, so there's a lot of stuff that we're still learning on the fly. But the hotel is fantastic. Read the reviews for the hotel. It's just really cool. We're really excited about it. So that is happening. Lots of cool reviews and things coming up. But let's get started with what I found on the internet this week. Okay, so what did I find on the internet this week? First of all, Wendy's restaurant released a full fantasy tabletop RPG, Feast of Legends. Certainly it's a corporate stunt, right? You can go look at the rules for it, feastoflegends.com. I don't know. I'm not a big role player, so I wouldn't know necessarily if it's a good game or not, but it's this is definitely... what's interesting about this is that it's a cultural shift to some degree, right? Can you imagine this happening 20 years ago? I saw a giant Race for the Galaxy. Someone made a giant backyard edition of Race for the Galaxy. Huge. It looks really cool. I don't know that I'd want to play it, though, because Race for the Galaxy is a speed game. But I guess you'd get your exercise in playing this. There's a video down here, board game score analysis. You can look at how board games are rated and does a lot of analysis. If you like crunchy math stuff, then you would probably like this. Someone sent me a link to Melodice. That's another... Last week I talked about a Spotify list for music while you play board games. Here you can type the name of the game in and it will give you music to listen to. Not every game is going to work, obviously, but the hot games, they'll find you music to listen to during your games. Make your own Unmatched Deck. Jonathan Guberman has a thing where you can make your own games for the new Restoration Unmatched things, or Mondo. So if you want to make, I want to make a Superman Unmatched. Oh, I guess he would win every time. So I had to pick someone different. How about Jack Bauer? He would win all the time, too. Jack Bauer versus Superman. Anyhow. Space Biff did a nice review on Sabotage from Tim Fowler, so that's a nice written review that you can see there. There's a thread on Reddit where someone asked how to explain rules to new players. A lot of good tips there, a lot of people involved. It can be tough sometimes explaining games to new people. And also on Reddit, I found a nice thread about War of the Ring versus Sun, where basically someone's playing War of the Ring against their son, and a nice write-up of that. I like reading stuff like that. BBC did a thing on why are board games so popular, which we all know the reasons to that. But hey, I'm always really happy to see this get out more in the wild and hit the major news sources. And then Northern Tabletop Gaming has a little article, 6 Reasons I Avoid a Game. I could give hundreds of reasons, but this is an interesting idea. These are the kind of things that I think it's interesting to look at from my perspective, a publisher's perspective, a designer perspective, and so on. That's what I found on the internet this week. Folks, if you have something you'd like me to talk about, email it to me at tom@dicetower.com.
Mountains radiant in the early morning light, and you are preparing for your gears, ready for the hike on your own or with your fellow hikers. This is Mountains, coming up. Hi, it's Stella. In Mountains, object of the game is to collect the most hiking stamps by completing hiking cards. Game starts with each player dealt randomly a number of hiking equipment cards only known to themselves, and the number depends on the number of players. Each turn, a player flips a hiking card from face-down piles. The more equipment required, the better the reward. Players don't know exactly what the equipment is needed until they flip the card. Once flipped, if they have part or none, they can give a favor stone to opponent, then ask if they have a certain equipment. Other player may lie beforehand about what they have, but must reveal the equipment if they have it, after they've been given a favor stone. Players just need to reveal they have the equipment and then put it back on their hands. When player has the required equipment, the hike is a success, and the player receives rewards consist of combination of favor stones and stamps. You want to have more equipment before going to more difficult hiking cards and should collect information about who has what equipment. There are some hiking cards that let you buy more equipment cards from Equipment Deck. It's mainly memory game. We played Mountains with full 5 players, and I think it is better played with 5. More people holding items, more challenging to remember who got what. There are 2 copies of 16 types of items all up. Also, when you collect stamps, you use actual stamp to stamp your sheet, and this is hidden from other players' eyes as well. Well, thanks for watching. We are on the Dice Tower How to Play videos and Meeple University on YouTube. See you next time.
Kann ich Ihnen weiterhelfen?
I want to buy a board game.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Hi everyone, my name is Ilka Lusa and here are some more essentials. This week we want to teach you some German sentences because not everyone is going to be able to understand you because we here speak, German.
Hi, my name is Dave.
Hallo, ich bin Dave. Ilka.
I want to buy this board game.
Ich möchte dieses Spiel kaufen.
Are there English rules inside?
Gibt es eine englische Spielanleitung?
Is this seat taken?
Ist dieser Platz noch frei?
Can I join you?
Kann ich mitspielen?
What's the weather gonna be like?
Wie wird das Wetter wohl sein?
Where can I get food?
Wo gibt's hier Pommes Schranke?
Do you have any German food?
Gibt's hier Schniposa? Schnitzel, Pommes, Salat. Schniposa.
When is the Dice Tower live show?
Wann ist die Dice Tower Live Show?
Dice.
Würfel.
Dice game.
Würfelspiel.
Have you seen a man in a hat?
Haben Sie Tom Vasel gesehen?
Roll and write.
Yahtzee.
Does this come with the promo?
Gibt es dazu eine Mini-Erweiterung?
I heard you have some free promos.
Ich habe gehört, es gibt hier gratis Promos.
Why are you selling the game while I, as a Kickstarter backer, haven't received it yet?
So what's coming from the Dice Tower this week? Well, several reviews I'm taking a look at a couple of the new exit games, Homebrewers, Carousel, Porto. There's some really cool different little games I've been looking at, and we're going to be doing our top 10 hilarious games that make us laugh. We'll be doing that live on Thursday. And, of course, our crowd surfing, where we take a look at all the stuff on Kickstarter on Wednesday. Mandy and Suzanne have a podcast going up on Tuesday. We will be playing a live game on Tuesday with some of the biggest miniatures I've ever seen. So some really cool stuff coming out this week from the Dice Tower. Of course, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'll be doing a live Q&A today with Sharon, director of Dice Tower East, so if you have questions for us there. And so I'm excited. Let's keep moving.
Hey, Tom. Thanks so much for giving me a few minutes just to talk about stuff that's going on, having a little snack. I've got some apple slices with pistachio butter, a little bit of melted gorgonzola dolce cheese on top of rye toast. My name's Corey Thompson, and two of my favorite things in the world are food and board games. And like a lot of you out there, I really love the industry. So recently, I started a new project, the website Dice Tower Dish. On Dice Tower Dish, I'm taking notable and famous people in the industry, designers, artists, personalities, taking them out to a nice meal, and we just talk about whatever. There's discussion about game design, things going on in the game industry, as well as food, life, things in general. So go ahead and visit Dice Tower Dish, see who we've got interviewed, what sort of stuff we're talking about, and hope to see you there. Thanks again.
What's up everyone, my name is Melissa McCack, and this is Smashing Buttons and Slamming Cards. This is a segment where I talk about a video game I love and I connect it to a board game I love. And this week I want to talk about Call of Duty, the video game, which could be found for pretty much any platform you can imagine. But I personally want to talk about the earlier Call of Duty, so like the first, second, and third one, where it really captured the innocence of it all. I know it was talking about war, but it still gave you the historical information that actually happened during that period. And I don't know, it just felt more like playing with toy soldiers, but in a video game. I played more for the campaign rather than the competitive play, which you could find more readily now in the Call of Duty franchise. But I would like to connect that to Memoir 44. Memoir 44 is a board game where, again, it sort of captures that innocence where you're playing with little toy soldiers, literally, and you're just chucking dice and trying to play the right cards at the right time to ultimately gain enough victory points to win. And it comes with all sorts of different scenarios that took place during World War II. I usually play this with my brother, and we always have a blast. So, anyway, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
All right, folks, let's take a break here from breakfast and talk to Peter Hayward from Jelly Bean Games, which is one of the greatest names for a company ever. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Thanks so much, Tom. Pleasure to be here.
How did you come up with that name anyway?
So this was that rare case where it was a name-first company. I was talking to Christopher Bedell from Greater Than Games, and I said, someone should make a company called Jelly Bean Games that does, like the Jelly Bean of games. And he said, yes, someone should, and so I did.
It does sound like something he would say to you and then wink at you. And so you've made quite a few different games out there. Right now you have an expansion for one of those games on Kickstarter, right?
That's right. Village, Pillage, Surf and Turf went live on Kickstarter this week, and it's running for 3 more weeks, and it's going really well.
So tell us a little bit about Village Pillage.
So Village Pillage is the world's best turnip-based game. I think we can all agree. Every turn you play a card against both of your neighbors, everyone simultaneously flips them over, and it's kind of like playing scissors, paper, rock on 2 sides at once. The aim of the game, you play a small village. The aim of the game is to collect a bunch of turnips and then turn them into relics, and if you get 3 relics, you become a kingdom.
I've always enjoyed turning turnips into relics. This is a simple, light game. It starts out, very basic, and as time goes by, you get different cards that you can play against your opponents. What does the expansion add? So
the expansion adds 2 things that people wanted. One is just more cards. There's at least 20 cards coming in the expansion. We're unlocking stretch goals all over the place. And one of the types of cards you can actually get even faster than normal. So one of the types of cards is called a freebooter. When you buy a freebooter, you then get a second card purchase just straight away. So you get more cards into your hand faster than ever. The other thing it adds is some interaction across the table. So normally in Village Pillage, you're just playing against the player to your left, player to your right. In Surf and Turf, you play cards that interact with any player or all players or any combination of the 2.
So I don't get what's the name, the concept of the name here. Is there lobster in this game? Because I'm okay with that.
There's actually 2 expansions on Kickstarter right now. One is called Surf and one is called Turf. Surf is sort of like the first Dominion expansion. It takes you to the seaside. You've got a bunch of nautical villages that you can hire. Turf is animal-based, so all of the cards are based around animals. We've got the lion tamer, we've got the matador, we've got all kinds of animal-based cards. And they're 2 separate expansions, $9 each, but you can obviously combine them both and play them all with Village Pillage.
And folks, you can see a link to that in the description below. But I want to ask you a little bit about Jelly Bean Games. Now, you said you want to make a company that was the Jelly Bean of what does that mean?
It means little delicious morsels that are good for everyone. So all of our games are fun for adults, fun for kids, fun for both at once. All of our games are about the Village Pillage size, these little 20-minute experiences that are delightful and colorful and very, very fun.
Yeah, there's no question about the colorful. One of the things I've been impressed with your games is the artwork. Like The Lady and the Tiger is still one of the prettiest games I've ever seen. How do you go about finding and picking these artists?
So we have a submission process where we tell people, don't send us your standard work, send us your best work. When we work with an artist, we want the best thing that they can make, and we consistently get it.
Yeah, that's just fascinating to me that these games that you make, then they're usually, you mentioned very light games. This is a genre, today in our hobby, everyone wants big, grandiose games, and you are deliberately not making that. Is that a tough thing? Is it hard? Is there a lot of competition with these light games? How do you deal with that?
So we have found that we're very, very good at this. So, as the adage goes, find what you're good at and do that very hard. So we are consistently making these small, I think all of our games right now are at a $20 price point, and that's what we're doing. We're doing them well, and we've built an audience of people who want that kind of game that you can play with your parents, you can play with your kids, you can play with gamers and non-gamers, and they'll all have a good time.
When you jump, so you've been kickstarting quite a bit, actually. But when you're done kickstarting a game, the difficulty then is to get that game into the hands of people. How do you go about doing that?
So we actually have worldwide distribution. So all of our games are available pretty much anywhere in the world. If you go to your friendly local game store and you say, "I want this Jelly Bean game," they will be able to get their hands on it. And so we have a whole network worldwide to get that. We've also got all of our games being translated at the moment. So Village Pillage is about to come out in French, and Lady and the Tiger's already out in Spanish and German, and a bunch more languages on their way.
Now, you cater a lot towards families. You mentioned your games are something that can be played with the whole family. And I've noticed that with your art, your games look modern. And you have a great diversity amongst how they look and how they play. I'm assuming that's an intentional choice?
Absolutely, yeah. Our games are for everyone, and we want everyone to be represented in our games. So Village Pillage, I think, is the first ever game where a woman has underarm hair on the cover. Lady and the Tiger, I don't know any other game that has a pregnant woman in the art. She's holding an axe because, and every time we get a new artist, we send them a brief saying we are aiming for diversity because we just believe that makes better games.
And the small size of your games makes them easy to be portable and such. Do you find yourself gravitating? Is one of your games that you make your favorite?
Oh, man. Village Pillage is probably up there. Village Pillage is actually the first game that I made before Jelly Bean that I was like, this is going to be a Jelly Bean game. And it has proved to be one of our biggest hits. So I was right on the money with that one.
Now, as basically a very small publisher, and somebody came to you and said, "I'm thinking about doing it," what's something you wish someone had told you before you started?
Get a business partner. So I'm more the creative type, and my first few campaigns, I didn't have the business know-how to run them well, and we got all the games out, everyone got their games okay, but we did not really make as much money as we could have on those, and so I pretty quickly found a business partner, and since then we've been on the road towards not losing money, which is a much better path to travel.
All righty, well, we look forward to seeing your games as the year goes by. This Kickstarter, when it's finished, when will people get it?
So this one, we always put an estimated delivery date of 1 year. That's just to be safe. Generally speaking, it's much less than that. So we're expecting it to be probably midway through next year that it'll actually land at people's doorsteps.
All righty, thank you, Peter, for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hello, everybody. We are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. And today we have a special guest with us whose name is Team Unicorn.
And we are going to be talking about spookies. But first, let's bridge the gap between health and board games.
All right. What do you want to talk about today?
Monkey bars. So, first I've been wanting to do them, and I couldn't do them. I tried and tried and tried, and now I can go all the way across. And there's over 50 to go.
Wow. All right. All right, so Spookies is a press your luck game where you're basically kind of going through this haunted house, and the higher up you go, the harder you have to roll the dice, but also there's better rewards to be had as well.
All right, Team Unicorn, what's something you like about Spookies?
I like that we have to take, what's it called?
Risks?
That we take risks and get points.
Yeah? You like the pressing your luck and kind of trying to go higher up?
Do you think other kids your age would like this game?
Yes, very much. Very, 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 very much. Exclamation mark.
All right. I enjoy this game too. It is really fun, the push your luck aspect of it. Our superhero daughter and me are very good at the push your luck aspect of it, which is why we don't win a lot.
You go a little extra.
Yeah.
I went all the way up to 11 once, which is the highest thing.
Yeah.
It says 8 plus on the age range. She's only 6 and did along just fine with it. So we play it with our game group as well. So this works for many ages.
If you want to hear our full thoughts on that, go ahead and go to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. You can find us on YouTube and on Facebook.
All right. Well, this is Ryan. I'm Bethany. This is our superhero daughter, Team Unicorn, encouraging you to play games, live healthy, and create moments. Bye guys.
So what are we adding to the Dice Tower Library this week? Well, the expansion for Quacks of Quedlingburg is going in, although it all fits in the base game, so we don't need that box anymore. Karuba, the new version of Awkward Guess, will replace the pasted up one that I have in there. Die Hard, even though I didn't give this game a super positive review, it's really fun to play through once, and you know what? That's a great place to have it, is in a convention. For our kids' library, we got Monster Flush, then Chocolate Factory, really enjoyed this one, and Paladins of the West Kingdom. And from Peterson Games, we have Evil High Priest, as opposed to the nice one. Get Bit Deluxe is going in the library, as well as this classic game. I really like this one. I think it should be in the library, Botswana. And Slapshot from Columbia Games. The classic Kill Dr. Lucky is going in. Days of Ire, Budapest, 1956. Obscurio. Infamy, the first game from Travis Chance. And from Mercury Games, also from Mercury Games, we have The Walled City. From Cosmos, we have Dimension going in. And then the nice, big, beautiful game, Poseidon Kingdom, one of my favorite games from the Lamont brothers. All these games are going to Dice Tower Library. Hey, you want to play Dice Tower Library games? Sign up for Dice Tower East tomorrow.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Aaron from the Board Game Brothers, and welcome to another episode of Mystery Component Monday, a segment where I show you a picture of a game piece, and it's up to you to try to guess what game that piece comes from. So, let's put on our thinking caps, because here is this week's picture. Okay, time's up, pencils down, and thinking caps off. And the answer to this week's question is 5 tribes. In 5 tribes, players are controlling the various tribes of Nakala, which are represented by 5 different colored meeples. Players bid to see who gets to go first each round, and on their turn, they will choose a tile on the board to pick up all the meeples from there and drop them off one at a time onto adjacent orthogonal tiles. The last meeple to be dropped off must share a color with the meeple already present on that tile, and depending on what color the meeple was, you will activate a different effect. Players will also activate a second effect depending on the tile where the last meeple was placed. Some of these meeple and tile effects include gaining meeples for points, removing other players' meeples, gaining money, gaining sets of cards worth money, and buying powerful Djinn cards that will grant the player powerful new abilities. Players can also gain control of a tile for points by removing all the meeples from a tile at the end of their meeple placement phase. With a modular board and randomly placed meeples, the replayability of this game is very high and ensures no 2 games will be the same. This game is the very definition of a point salad game, and the player with the most points wins. And that's this week's game. Congratulations to everybody who got it right, and for everybody else, there's always next week. But until then, I hope you all have a happy breakfast.
Hi, I'm Jordan. This is Second Chance Shelf. This week we're looking at Trombone. It's one of my favorite 2-player games put out by Lookout Games. Let's see what's inside the box. Trombone is a 2-player card game built around the use of these multi-use cards. Each card can be used to be saved as money, they can be used as passengers, or they can be used as tram stops. In the center of the table is where the passengers are going to be waiting for the trams, and each of these is going to be different colors. In front of each player, there are going to be the tram lines that each player controls. Here I control a tram line that has a power of 2 for blue cards, and I also have one of yellow cards. On your turn, you can play as many cards in front of you as you'd like, adding to your tram lines as long as they are being played in ascending order, similar to Lost Cities. You can also start new tram lines, purchasing these trams over here, paying the cost in the corner, or you can discard any cards from your hand to save as cash. Now, one of the most interesting parts of the game is how pacing is controlled by the players. The game ends after 10 tours are scored, and players score them after 4 cards are placed in the passenger row. Then that color is then scored, and you score all the points for that. Trombone has a lot of really interesting decisions. So if you want to play this card as a passenger, then maybe I'll be able to score my brown trams. But maybe I wanted to put it on my brown tram lines because then I would score 3 bonus points every future turn that those trams were scored. Do I want to score rush and score one of my lines because I know my opponent doesn't have as many points there? Or do I want to try to build up some of the ones I don't have as many because I know they're going to be scoring some of those points also? I love it. It's great. I don't usually pay attention to whether games are in stock, but I did just notice that Amazon has like 5 copies in stock. I don't know if this game's going to be in print for much longer, so if you're on the fence, I would definitely pick up Trombone. Happy breakfast.
things about the Dice Tower is that, because we have so many different sources and so many videos and podcasts and such, not everything that we announce or say goes out to everybody. Because if you don't watch a specific video, you might miss something we talk about. That's why sometimes you say, you talk about the same thing all the time. Sure, it's for that reason. But in our live Q&A a few weeks ago, Sam Healy announced that he was leaving the Dice Tower at the end of the year. And so I thought I would quickly mention that here in Board Game Breakfast, and some of you may not have heard of that. Now, this isn't anything bad with us and Sam. If you notice, he's still with us, working with us, doing top tens and video reviews and things. But he has to move to the other side of the country for family reasons. And so you might still see him on the Dice Tower in various ways. So we're looking forward to still working with him. And when we go to conventions, if he's at those conventions and things like that. And obviously the questions that come on top of that is, what are you doing next? What are you doing to replace Sam? That's still a lot of stuff in the future. Right now, we're just working on what we're doing now. And we have some things and such, but Sam and I have known each other for over 20 years, 25 years, I think, at this point, or 24 years. We met in college. We lived in the same hall in a dormitory, and I was friends with one of his roommates. And then we just found that we had a lot of same things in common. In college, we played a lot of collectible card games together. We got into Warhammer 40K together. We played our role-playing game together. I ran a superhero game. And then we worked in the same church. When I went to Korea, I was trying to convince other people to come out there and work. It's such an amazing opportunity. And Sam was one of the people who took me up on that and came out. And we spent several years in Korea together. And then through just a remarkable coincidence, both ended up back here in Homestead, Florida. When he went to California, I stayed in Korea, then we both came here. And it worked out. And so Sam has been a big influence on my life in many ways. He's definitely, you see our shows, right? He's really opinionated, but Sam is also the kind of guy that if we walk past someone on the street who needs help, Sam is the guy who will go and help that person. Very tender-hearted person. And we're going to miss him here. And so I wanted to just do a quick shout-out to him. A lot of times when people leave stuff, there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes, right? And that's always going to happen at different places. And I don't think everything needs to be transparent. You'll say, why did so-and-so leave this place? Well, honestly, it's none of your business. And even in this regard, if Sam says it's for family reasons and people are like, but what are those? It's no one's business, right? But at the same time, you do sit there and wonder, right? Like, why did that person leave that? Well, here we're trying to be open about that. We are sad to see Sam go. But, I'm also excited to see as the future of what he's going to do, right? I would imagine he'll still be in the board game industry in some manner or fashion. And so I appreciate everything that he's done. He was the host of the Dice Tower for a couple years, between Joe Stedman and Eric Summer. And he's been doing videos with me. He came over and did top 10 lists with me way before, he became an employee of the Dice Tower. He just liked games that much. So I wish him well. And still won't play Star Wars Trivial Pursuit with him ever again, because I've learned my lesson on that one. I don't know anything about Star Wars, apparently. But as time goes by, there's going to be changes in the Dice Tower, and I know that everyone's not going to like all the changes, right? Things happen, things change. But we maneuver with that, and we can look back and remember all the good times. And that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. Thanks to all my fantastic contributors. It seems to me they get better every week. Really cool stuff. I'm excited to see stuff like that. Our Kickstarter stuff is almost all shipped out. I think by the end of this week, everything will be in the mail. And so if you haven't got the Kickstarter rewards, you should get them soon. Once again, a big thank you to each of you who support our Kickstarter. Essen is only a few weeks away, so we're going to see many of you at Essen. So keep an eye out for that. And of course, Dice Tower East registration tomorrow. Until then, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast on the Dice Tower.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast.